Well, you want to take that nice trip down to, I don't know, spring break down in Florida. You're going to pay a little bit more. Welcome to the welcome to the Super Pilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and I'm going to be talking about expensive airline tickets in my basement. Hey Dan, happy spring to you too. Oh boy, I just can't wait for the good weather to get here. It's nice and sunny out here today in Windsor, Ontario, where I am, but still just a little bit cold. And it's like, come on, spring weather, and looking forward to planting some seeds and getting those going and stuff like that, doing some more flying. But as usual, I'm always trying to figure out what am I going to talk about here on my show. And I recently knew somebody that was trying to book a ticket and so from here in Windsor, and so the usual way of this person flying to where they normally do is they would fly on Porter Airlines direct from Windsor to Toronto Island, and then switch planes, then go off to where they got to go off to. But apparently, that service is no longer available, so they're going to Pearson Airport, which is pretty busy and a real fun show, we'll say, and then switch planes with a big long layover, and so it was kind of a little bit different than anything that was happening before, and the price of the ticket was considerably more than it was just a few years ago. So I was thinking about, why is this so expensive? And using my little pilot brain that I have, came up with a few things. So we're going to be talking about the 5 things that are making it expensive. Well, I like to do the 5 because it's a YouTube thing. So, okay, here we go. Let's just start off. And I'll just start off with like kind of my impressions. I did like like this isn't a full-time job for me, so I'm not a full-time researcher, but like I did a little bit of Google searching on this. So number 1, here we go. Why are the plane tickets so expensive? Number 1, fuel costs. Yep, gas has gone up for everybody, whether it's filling up your car and filling up your airplane too. So airplanes take jet fuel, which is basically the same thing as diesel fuel. It's got some extra little goodies in there, so it doesn't condense water as much if you're going from temperature extremes. So, but anyways, the fuel is it's up, and then has to go on to the customer. So, hey, Reg, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. So, that's right, Wrench. This is where I make my big bucks. So, anyways, one day you never know. So, number 1, just fuel costs. That's everyone can understand that one. And I'm also going to add here just regular market forces. So the whole world's been shut down for a couple of years and opening up and stuff. So there's a lot of pent up demand. So supply and demand here to get on that airplane. Everybody wants to take their vacations that they haven't been able to, visit families, friends that they haven't been able to visit, and so I think that's one of the things that's kind of driving it up. And then so they're kind of getting all the airplanes. It's been a while since things have opened up a bit, but there's still a backlog there of airplanes, getting them ready, pilots to fly them, stuff like that, baggage handlers, so it's supply and demand there. And I think I was just thinking about that today too, where it could get a little bit pricier in the summer, because I think the demand is going to go up. Well, normally it goes up a bit in the summer anyways, but if you're looking at the United States, which is the biggest flying market around, because who is that guy, the tennis player, Djokovic or something like that? And so the Americans are going to let him come in to play the U.S. Open or something like that. But after they lift their emergency, was it the official COVID emergency stuff? I think it's May 11th that they're doing that. So at that point, there we go. More tennis players will be flying into the United States. And I think a lot of other people are going to be, I wouldn't want to be booking an airplane ride for May 12th because I think everybody from, people that are in the same boat as him for the same reason as him, why they're not letting him in. There's another 10, 20, who knows, 30% of the world that wants to come visit their relatives in the United States. And that's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty busy May 12th when all the restrictions are dropped. So there we go. That's my own little thing. I was just thinking about that. That's going to be a bit of a bump. And yeah, so the part of the supply and demand thing, there's still a bit of a pilot shortage out there. So number three, pilots. Like at least in Canada, anyways, where I am, I know that like the person I was talking about that was going to be booking a flight from Windsor to another destination through the Toronto Island Airport on Porter Airlines, and I know Porter is they're screaming for pilots right now, and I think. Any of the people that I've talked to that have flown on them, they've been jam packed on each flight. So I know there's capacity there, but they have airplanes that are just sitting ready to go, but they got to get the pilots all trained up and everything. And I've kind of mentioned that a little bit on other videos about why there's a bit of a pilot shortage right now. Combination of demographics with baby boomers retiring at 65, 60, whenever they're eligible. But all those boomers, they were going for the last couple of years and not being replaced because there wasn't a lot of flying going on. So now here we go. There's a big demand. There's not as much pilots. There we go. And when the supply and demand, it all comes down to raising up them expenses. Oh, I'm going to switch over to blue on this one because my black. I got to get a new black pen. It's kind of running out, but still going. Okay, number 4. What do we got here? We're going to talk. It'll be kind of a combination one, and you can see how all of this stuff, it all kind of combines. It's just like everything in aviation, where one thing affects another thing, which affects another thing, which affects another thing. And so same here with your ticket prices. Okay, we're going to say pilot wages. There's been some big pilot wages increased in the United States to retain staff. And also the maintenance, everything gets expensive, right? So, if you got to replace a tire on a 737, well, that tire just went up by another whatever $1,000. I don't know how much they cost. They're anything in aviation always costs way more than it does in the car world or whatever. So yeah, so that's a big one there for expenses. And I'm just gonna go. I couldn't really think of like 5. What's the 5th one? So I'm just gonna say other. Okay, but we got other because there's a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm sure I'm missing some. But okay, what else we got here? So just like with everything else, everything's going up in price. I can think of a few things that have gone up. Now, maybe it's not a huge. I wouldn't say it's a huge effect on the price, but trying to talk and write at the same time, not doing so great. Here we go. Yeah, so this will be some other little things. That's why I put them at the bottom. My fancy eraser. Yeah, and then there's a few other things that I'm sure I'm missing out on. Okay, so the other things, the other ancillary costs would be the insurance. Insurance just always goes up. I've never seen ever that insurance goes down on anything. So insurance went up. Landing fees, those are creeping up a little bit here and there. And even the meals on your plane, food prices are going up, right? So it's going to be reflected on your ticket. So 1% here, 1% there, 1% there, 20% there, and it all adds up to a lot more. So there we go. There's five reasons why you're getting hosed, man. Well, anyways, let's do a little recap here. Okay, fuel prices, that's gone up huge over the last few years. Supply and demand. And hey, Shecky, welcome to the show. Pilots, we'll say pilot availability, shortages, the higher wages and maintenance costs on the planes, and your other stuff. So there we go. That's my little take. Maybe that's something you haven't thought about, or maybe that makes a little bit more sense when you're feeling all that outrage of getting your your expensive ticket. So and then yeah, so that's all I was kind of talking about today. And it was a combination. I was going to do this show or talk about, like, I went out this morning and it was a beautiful blue sky, which means it's a high pressure system, and I was going to talk about the joys of the high pressure system, but nah, I don't know how much you want to talk about the weather. So that's what everybody does, and I don't know, it's not for everyone, but beautiful high pressure system over there right now, and everything that goes along with that. But still not great flying weather yet. I was almost going to go flying on the weekend, but it was just a little bit too windy, and it was just like, come on. And then historically, okay, we're in March right now, so next month, April's usually the windy, rainy month. So who knows? I really want to get into a plane again here. I got my one student that I'm kind of teaching part time. He's concentrating on his ground school right now still, and I've been kind of keeping in touch with him, and he's hopefully going to get his written test done pretty soon. Oh, okay, and yeah, great. So Wrench is asking a question here, which is good because we got to stretch it out, man. All right, and yeah, fire away any questions you guys want at any time here. If I see a little question mark, I'll always answer it, unless it's like some goofy question, which is, I don't know, what would you say, inappropriate. Okay, so Wrench is asking here, government has added ADS-B or ADS-B, however you want to pronounce it, TCAS. Does Canada have air marshal riding for no money? Okay. When it comes to air marshals in Canada, the only, well, okay, and then as far as that ADS-B, ADS-B stuff, I mean, all the airliners, they all have all that stuff. People that own their own airplanes, most people around here, they're kind of getting that the ADS-B out, so that they can fly in the States through the different veils that they have there, different airspace. TCAS is, well, all the big planes have TCAS on them anyways. And so, what else we got here? Air marshals. Okay, so I really don't know who owns or who's paying the air marshals for that. I don't think the airlines are paying for that. Don't quote me on that one. And the only thing I really know, they try to keep the air marshal stuff. I think it's a little bit more in the States than it is over here. But the only thing that I have heard is that anytime that you are flying to Washington, D.C., from anywhere in the world, there will be an up until a few years ago, anyways, for sure, I knew that I heard it from a pilot that it's just like, yeah, there's always an air marshal if you're flying into Washington, D.C., even if it's from Canada. I don't know if it would be an American one or it would be like an undercover RCMP or something, but the guy was saying that, like, there's always an air marshal there with a gun at the ready, and away you go. And another one I've heard about the air marshals from, well, a buddy of mine I knew that used to do a lot of flying between here and Europe, and a lot of times his business would pay for him to go. And he said you can always tell the air marshals because it's like some woman sitting in first class that's not drinking. So that's another thing too. The air marshals, you don't expect a woman to be a cop, right? Or undercover. Yeah, that's how they get you. But I mean, don't be. I don't know. That's all I know about air marshals. That's the total extent of my knowledge there, Ranch. So who pays for it? Not really too sure. Who would pay for that? Yeah, not really too sure there. Oh, another thing there for the other fees there is I was thinking that hotels might be going up a little bit in price, and like restaurant meals, because when the per diems for the crew to be somewhere else, that's another little cost that would be there. But oh well, Wrench. Hopefully that's clear as mud for you. And yeah, so anyways, just a little kind of a short one here today. And still have no idea what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday. Hopefully something really cool. And yeah, just inflation. And oh, Eaglette's here too. Thanks for catching the last little bit here, anyways. And yeah, so anything. Oh, that was another thing I was going to say about is that if you guys ever want me, like if you're kind of interested in something, or maybe somebody's learning how to fly and they want to have a little they're kind of stuck on something and they need the pro to explain something for them. You can always I was fooling around with my Twitter because I do have Graham Wilson on Twitter at superpilotish, and I think I tried to. I was gonna get my. I'm still kind of new to Twitter, so it's like I think I clicked off a box before, so I couldn't get DMs, direct messages. So I think I can get that now. So I'm pretty sure you can direct message me on Twitter now, just for fun. I haven't gotten too many of those ever, and I also got my website, which has nothing on it really, but I do have a email address, and it's just superpilotish@gmail.com. So I'm always looking for new ideas because I've been doing the show now for since the beginning of May last year, and I don't know. I'd like to think I'm somewhat creative, but you can only talk about airplanes so much before you start repeating yourself. So, anyways, okay. Yes, Eaglette, you did notice my whiteboard method. It's a good method. At first, I used cardboard. I still got a bunch of it here. I haven't recycled it. It's like I got this big box of cardboard over here, and I don't know what to do with it. I might get like if I get famous one day, I'll like auction it off. It'll be worth millions for my fantastic artwork. What's this here? Oh, there we go. That's your Whisk air taxi. Anyways, fine artwork. So, anyways, here we go. Okay. What else we got here? And oh, yeah, Dan, quiet wishbone propellers for drones. I saw a thing going around. That's right, Dan. Somebody sent that to me. And that is neat. Let me write that down right away so I don't forget that. Yeah, there's going to be some really cool drone technology that's coming up, and I wonder if that's going to kind of translate over onto airplanes too. Because okay, what's it called? Wishbone propeller for drone. Prop for drone. Yeah, one of the things that limits airplanes is if the airport, a lot of people in the neighborhood are complaining about airplane noise because they moved in right next to an airport and didn't notice it was there, and all of a sudden they're complaining about all the jets and stuff. But depending on where you are, and how busy the airport is, there are like noise abatement procedures that you have to follow. Sometimes the airport's not open at night, so people can get their sleep. So that could be a real game changer if they could get some kind of quieter propeller, and you could have turboprops going in at night. It wouldn't be too bad. So that's a good idea, Dan. Thanks. And oh, okay. What do we got here? Okay. And Shecky's asking about radio frequency is an interesting topic. Okay. Now, radio frequency, that's a crazy thing. If you really get into it, like I know. You ever notice that the guys that get into like ham radios are always just like a little bit off, and they think it's really interesting? And oh yeah, you got a really good signal, yeah. And they're like, there's a guy around here. He walks around with he's got a big antenna and a backpack and a radio, and he's always walking around listening to like the ham radio, what's going on. You walk by him going downtown, it's this guy walking around listening to dee. So I mean, those guys, but it's cool that they're so into that. And if it's at the end of the world or something, and all the communication systems are done, like, well, who's the moron now for not knowing about your ham radio stuff? And just like when hey, let's shut down the entire economy and we're going to run out of toilet paper. Everyone that was like the crazy prepper would be like, I got tons. I don't care. Yeah. So like that's pretty cool. Oh, they won't let me into the grocery stores all sold out of bottled water. No problem. I got 3 months worth. Like who's the crazy person then? So I don't know. These ham radio guys, they're pretty intense, and which I find people like that kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, and so you can get really into radio frequencies. It gets into like there's all these different licenses you can get for that. So that you can operate on this band or that band, and there's these rules and skip distances and all kinds of things you got to know about. So, but radio frequencies, that's a pretty good idea there, Shecky. I think you came up with that one. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, I was talking about like drone jammer. I saw this one guy. He was it's a I don't know what to think about it. I just kind of heard about this guy. He's kind of an independent journalist. His name's Patrick Lancaster. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's been covering the war in Ukraine for like the last like 7 years or something like that. And he's got tons of videos out there. And I'd never heard about this guy. I'm like, who is this dude? Interesting perspective on what's going on over there. I don't know if he's like some kind of Russian intelligence guy or if he's an actual freelance reporter or what he is, but who knows what's in the media these days? Because I kind of have a healthy distrust of the media because they've come by the airport many times, and like you talk to any pilot out there, as soon as they're reporting something about an airplane, they're always going to get something wrong, always 100% of the time. So it's kind of like yeah, oh, go the reporter's standing there, and this Cessna crashed. It's like, no, that's a Piper. It's a twin engine. It's but so yeah, so I'm kind of. I did a couple of interviews with the media before, and I wasn't really too happy with it. So I used to, if I ever did do any, I did very little media with when I was chief flight instructor where I worked. But I was trying to keep it. I tried to keep it just kind of like happy success story, the history of the place, or history of the airport, or someone succeeded doing something, rather than I don't want to talk about crashes or bad stuff, and then they get it wrong, and it's like, yeah. So, I mean, and you can't blame them. I've known people that have worked in the media, and they're just so busy. They don't have time to like do research anymore. It's like, here you go, Mister Guy that just guy or gal that just got their communications degree. Okay, get yourself a suit. Here's your camera. Get out there. I need some content by 2:00. Give me 4 minutes. You go out, find the story, get it, edit it, get it back to me, and they're just running around and they don't have time. Okay, what's it? Reuters says this, copy, paste, good. The official sources say blah, blah, blah. They can't look into anything else. They don't have time. So, but yeah, so what was I going to say here? I just went off on a rambling rant there. So, oh yeah, and yeah, so this guy was talking. And he did this one video. They had this little, kind of looked like a little ray gun type thing, and they had a drone, and this guy shot the drone with this little radar jamming gun thing, and then it lost its signal, and then it had to go back to its pre-programmed home position. So apparently, that's what. There's a lot of drone. I don't know, drone warfare spotting. There's like Russians have drones over there, the Ukrainians have drones, and they're using that to to spot. Okay, how far did? Okay, we're shooting our artillery over here. Okay, we need it, and then they'll have a couple drones watching where it is. So yeah, and then like locals over there they'll see drones coming around, and a little while later, get away. Bad situation, but still interesting. Yeah, so this Patrick Lancaster guy, it's kind of interesting if you want to see a different perspective on what's going on. Is it true or not? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. Luckily, there's no fire because they're out of fuel. Yeah, out of fuel is not lucky. True. Well, I once flew with this. There we go. Here's a airplane safety tip just to close out the show. Here is that I used to work with this old guy, and then oh, do we need gas? Should we have gas? And the old guy at the airport would always say, you always want to carry as much fuel as possible. So that way, when you crash, the fire is going to be spectacular. So, anyways, that's about it for the day. I'm gonna shut her down, and thank you for watching. Bye.